Hello, and welcome back. If you're new here, I'm so glad you've tuned in. Today's episode is going to be on a topic that I think most people can 100% relate to. And if they're not in this predicament now, then they probably were at some point and have really taken it upon themselves to move the needle in their life, if you will. And what I want to talk about is this concept that I think is really embedded in our subconscious minds, especially a lot of us Americans, that life is not really meant to be that fulfilling. And let me explain. So I'm having a conversation the other day with my husband, and he likes to listen to my podcasts. And we were talking about the one I released, which as I'm releasing this one will have been a few weeks prior. It's called Harnessing Happiness. So he listened, he was like, it's a good one, it's got some good points. He's like, but what about all the people that are just in that zone where they wake up in the morning, it's routine. It's like, get the kids out of bed, get them out the door, get yourself to work, go to work, run yourself ragged, get home, get the kids, cook the food, play with the kids, do everything that you can, try to just get them in bed, and then close your eyes, go to sleep, and it's like the same thing over and over every day. It's like Groundhog Day. And I said, well, I unfortunately think that is a lot of people. That was me for the longest time. I mean, I didn't have kids back then, but for my entire adult life working in corporate America, that's sort of what it was like for me. I was miserable. And no wonder I had to drink all the time, because I was just like doing this whole thing. And I was like, let me just get a break, right? Let me just escape from my life and drink myself into an oblivion that feels much better than this reality I'm living in. And I know that so many people can relate to this. And no shame on drinking I'm not trying to say that at all. That's not at all where I'm headed. I'm just saying, can you relate to this hamster wheel? And then you hear podcast episodes or books or people, inspirational speakers talking about how life is supposed to be so grand and fulfilling, and you look on social media at some people and it seems like they're living their dream, and you're like, I wouldn't even know where to start. I'm completely tied to the system. I'm tied into the matrix right now because I have to have that paycheck. I have to have that insurance. I wouldn't even, where would I even start to start creating a life that truly fulfills me, that's really living in my purpose and my dream? And a lot of people might look at me and be like, yeah, it's easy for you to say because your husband's more or less paying most of the bills around here. And I totally get that. So no judgment on any situation. I don't want you to think that, I can say this just because I have this current situation, or I don't have to, I'm not the main breadwinner for my family. But what I want to talk about, it's not just about me. I know so many people, breadwinners, right? Who have been on that hamster wheel, who have lived that Groundhog Day. And I was one of them at one point, and have turned their life around. They have stepped into their power. They have let go of what no longer was serving them, and moved into this life that has become truly fulfilling, doing things that really light them up. And if you're listening and you're like, I don't know what my purpose is, I don't know what really lights me up, blah, 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 and you have all that chatter in your mind, it's okay. It's normal to feel like that. I used to have it too. I remember, and I still remember this so vividly, sitting in my cubicle as a recruiter, which is what I was before I became a life coach. I'm sitting in my cubicle looking out the window. I had a great view of Tampa Bay. And I was just always thinking, what do I really want to be doing? What do I really want to be doing? I liked being a recruiter better than being in corporate accounting, which is what I was doing. I have a master's in accounting, so I did that for years and just throw up all over myself. I absolutely hated it. totally not in alignment with me. So I'm thinking, what would I really want to do with myself? If I could do anything, what would it be? And I always had the same reoccurring thought. It was like, I want to help people. I want to truly help people. I want to have my own schedule, my own hours. I don't want to work for anybody else. And I just want to help people live a better life. Okay? And so I knew that was something I wanted to do. But then I always had this voice coming in the back of my head saying, yeah, well, what are you going to do? Go back to school and be a psychologist? You're not going back to school. For one, you hate school. You're not going to pay for school. You're still paying off your old school. And why would you ever do that? Like, no, you're stuck. You have to do this. You're just stuck. This is just how life is. Life is meant to just, you work hard, play hard, and that's it. There's nothing more. And you just kind of dream. You dream about the other things. And then you look at some people who really are living their dreams and you're like, well, I'm not worthy of that. I couldn't do that. Who am I to do that? No one's going to want to listen to me. No one's going to want to come to me for help or whatever the heck it is that you might want to do. If you want to sell flowers, if you love doing flower arrangements, you're like, I wouldn't even know where to start. I don't know how to start my own business. So the thought of starting down a path of your dreams or a vision you might have is just completely overwhelming. So what do? We shut down. And then we're living this life with this belief that life is not meant to be fulfilling. That life is meant to just be lived. And we're stuck in this matrix. We're stuck in this system, right? Where we want more things and we're sold all the time on billboards and online and through marketing, telling us we need all these different things. We need this sofa, right? We need this kitchen. We need this toy. We need this car. We need this pool. We need this bigger house. We need better clothes. We need those shoes. We need all these things. And so then we are like, well, that's going to make me happy. So we purchase them. And then what are we in? We're in more debt. We don't have any more money. So then we become even more of a slave to the system because we have to pay off our debt. And then we have all these things we keep accumulating, like more children, more bigger families, more houses, more bills. And so then we're even more stuck in this system. And then we're not able to, so the more we take on, the more we owe, right? We have to pay back in some way, and it takes away our ability to eat healthier because maybe we're spending all of our money on other things. So then, we're trying to get the quickest and easiest food we can to just fill our bodies and fill our families and do it fast so that we don't have to cook healthy food and just go to bed. And then it's this vicious cycle. So then our bodies start getting unhealthy and we don't feel good. And then we can't do as much. And then, we want to go on vacation, but then, half of us are sick, so we can't go or blah, 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 because, we have to stick around and pay all this money for medical bills. And I'm just like going on tangents here. But do you see what I'm saying? We're stuck in these systems. And quite honestly, that's how the system was built. The system was built to enslave us. You have listened to the podcast that released the week before this one. What am I calling it? I don't remember what I'm calling it. How healthcare is failing us or something like that. It's all part of this system, okay? We've got these grandiose people, elites, some people call them at the top, making all of this money off of our consumerism, off of our unhealthiness, off of all this stuff that they're keeping us in this rat race, and we're not free. So therefore, of course, we have this idea that life is not fulfilling. It's not meant to be fulfilling because we're just going through the motions. Raise the child, feed him quick and easy food, get him, into college, get him married off, blah, blah. And then they do what? They go and start their own family and go through the exact same system that you were in. When are we going to draw the line and say enough is enough? Life is meant to be lived. It is meant to be enjoyed. And that is not saying that we won't have hard times. That is not at all saying that. It's saying, yes, you're going to have hard times. Yes, it's always going to be up and down, but Where can we how can we create a life by our own design? It's not just for the hippies who go live, wherever and don't have kids. It's for everyone. It's for everyone. And so the big question is, how do I even start? Like, that is the big question. Where would I even begin? Because the idea is so overwhelming. And so this is what I was talking to my husband about. He's like, where do you start to implement this? If life is really meant to be really fulfilled, where would someone start? And I talk about this a lot. There's different routines and practices and lifestyle changes we can make that are going to bring us into a more of a sense of homeostasis, like where our nervous systems aren't as crazy, where we can actually think, where we're able to get quiet. We have more endorphins running through our body when we're exercising. We feel better. We're having more positive thoughts that way. Control our thoughts, which I talk a lot about in the Break Free from Stress and Anxiety course that I sell. And, journaling, meditation, all the self-help things we can do. But here is the really big thing. Here is the really, really big thing that I think is the biggest game changer. And I would challenge anyone to give me another biggest game changer. And that is meditation. I don't care what anyone says. Meditation is the one thing that will start the ball rolling in the direction that you really want to go. And here's why. And P.S., I did a whole episode on meditation. Maybe back in it was in the earlier episodes. So go back to maybe probably around 4 or 5. I don't know, somewhere around there is a meditation episode I did if you want to learn more about meditation. But meditation, the reason that it is so powerful and life-changing is because it starts with quieting the mind. Because our mind is the number one thing that stops us from having everything that we want. It's the one thing that stops us from making better decisions, okay? If you can quiet the mind, which takes practice, especially in the beginning, and you start coming into a regular pace, quiet mind where your nervous system starts to become more stable, more calm, and you start to eventually really learn who you are. Because honestly, at the end of the day, a lot of us don't really have any clue who the true us is. We kind of do, but it's way back in our subconscious, and we don't really acknowledge it or bring it forward to really claim it and own it and know it. But the meditation, the going within, will get you to a place where you're basically meeting up with yourself every single day. And once you start to get into that pattern, once you start to recognize, come into that safe place of knowing, and it's hard to explain unless you are used to doing it, but you start to it's you're meeting yourself there. You're really meeting yourself there. You're getting to know who you are. And then when you do that, the universe starts to conspire with you. Okay? Universe, God, whatever you want to call it. You're able to partner up with this big internal guidance system to where you're not having to do everything yourself. You're attracting different things in your life because you're getting all this chaos and this clutter and this smoke cleared out of your aura, right? To where light energy and things that you want and that you like and that are positive will start coming into your awareness. They'll start coming into your field, right? And it'll be amazing just to see how the synchronicities start lining up. And you're like, whoa. Where did that came out of nowhere? Because you're not doing it alone. So a lot of people can look at this and be like, oh, meditation, yeah, it gets you quiet, whatever, I get quiet. So then what? How is that going to get me toward my dream? Because it's not just you doing this. When you start stepping into this knowing of who you are and really moving into and embodying that part of yourself, or not just that part of yourself, you, the real you, then doors will just start opening everywhere. It's not something that you necessarily have to like sludge through on your own. Now, does that mean it's going to be like really easy along the way? No, because here's the kicker. When you start moving toward your purpose and your dream and your higher self and into alignment with the real you, things are going to start coming at you to raise your frequency. It's meant to grow you, right? So it's kind of like, do I want to stay in this really safe place where absolutely nothing happens, but not too much is coming at me? If you want to, but there's no fun in that. No fun. Where the real fun and like light of life and vibrance of life comes is when you start moving into that higher version of yourself. And it's incredible and worth every single step. And along the way, you will be led and guided baby step by baby step by baby step by baby step. And it doesn't necessarily all happen at once. It takes time. It can take a long time, or it can but the whole process, of growing and evolving and moving and shedding your skin like snakes, right? Shedding old versions of yourself is so beautiful. It is beautiful. And that's where like the life of your dreams exists. That's where it lies. This whole idea that life is not meant to be fulfilling is bullshit. You've been sold a lie. So I want you to just let that sink into the core of your soul and start meditating. There's all kinds of things we can do for self-care and self-love, and I talk about it all the time. Get quiet, get quiet, get quiet, get to know you. Exercise is amazing. It makes you feel good. It gives you endorphins, It helps get you out of a rut. Do things that make you happy. Do a lot of, when you're going through a really intense period, if you're going through extreme grief or, anything that's hard, like a breakup or anything that you're going through, like a medical issue, anything that's hard for you, feel through it. Like, get out that journal and start writing out how you're feeling. Feel through those feelings. Let all of those things come out. Get it out. Let it be known. Doesn't have to be with other people, but just get it out of your system so it can move on and you can evolve and you can grow. But I'm telling you, there's all kinds of little practices we can do. But the big thing, the life-changing thing is meditation. The other life-changing thing you can do is eating healthy. I'm telling you. Help your mental state. Eat healthy. Eat organic. Avoid seed oils. I hope that this has struck a nerve in you and an understanding that anything you want, any dream you have, any vision you have is possible. And you have it for a reason. You 100% have it for a reason. Another little thing I want to touch on that my best friend Sarah, who just did this big conference, she was one of the speakers at a big conference, and she did amazing. I'm so proud of her. And one woman came up to her after the conference and was talking about, all these things that, she did this truth statement exercise, and this woman was like, it's weird. The big thing that came up for me was rest. And she's like, why would rest come up for me? And she's like, because that's exactly what you need. And she's like, what? Why would I need rest if I want to go after my dreams? I just need to hustle. I need to go. And she was like, no. You rest. You slow down and you'll start to recognize all that's already around you and all the things that you're manifesting. You'll be able to have more of a vision, right? Like you'll have more of like your peripheral vision will be open so you can see that a lot of the stuff you're looking for is already here. I just thought it was such a beautiful story. And it's so true. It's not all about the go, the hustle. It's always going to be more about the slowing down. And it's always going to be about slowing down. Let's use our brains here. No, a lot of times we have to make extra time to do these extra things because let's face it, we have busy schedules, right? But a lot of the time, if we can start to slow down, we're able to see more of what's truly in front of us. And we're able to be like, oh, well, this was here the whole time. I could have used that. It's just, we're not taught that. We're taught hustle, 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 go, 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 go. Not sustainable. It's not sustainable. That's about all I have to say about that. And have a beautiful day, my friends. I'll catch you in the next episode.